Hi, everybody. Welcome to Conversations with Bizzy. I hope you enjoyed today's story. And if you do, please subscribe. Here we go. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Conversations with Bizzy. It is episode 526. Lent is coming. What are you giving up? Plus a lesson in humility. So can you guys believe that literally a week from today, from the 26th of February, 1 week is Lent. It's the start of Lent. Fat Tuesday is next Tuesday. Okay, is time flying by? And then next Wednesday's Ash Wednesday. What are you giving up? Oh my gosh. I can't believe that it's already here. I was talking to a dear friend of mine last night in Dallas, outside of Dallas, and we were actually on our Bible study, and she was like, oh my gosh, it's Lent starts next Wednesday. I'm like, I know, it's next Wednesday. It's crazy. I think that would be, so wait a minute. So if Saturday's the 1st, Sunday's the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. So it's the 5th is Ash Wednesday. And I keep thinking about it like, oh my gosh, a year ago, I was thinking about going. That's like when I decided to go to Medjugorje. Is that so crazy? It's been a year, you guys, almost 1 year since I went on that trip on my little pilgrimage. That was like almost a year ago. Is that crazy? Crazy, crazy. I think it's crazy. And I keep thinking about Lent and what am I going to give up? What am I going to give up? I can tell you this. Last year was when I wasn't in a real church that I hadn't committed to any church, and I was kind of fluttering all around. I was doing a lot of yoga then. I was doing I did a class in the Kabbalah. I literally was seeking. And I remember seeing the Halo app come up on social media as like Hallow. I mean, not Halo, Hallow, like Hallow be thy name. And so I remember seeing it come up and Mark Wahlberg was doing it. And I was like, I think I want to go check this thing out. It's like an app you can get and you can follow it. And I'm really good at like, if you tell me to follow something and I commit to something like that, I'm really good at it because I do it in the morning before my feet hit the floor. I was like, I can do this. I can do 40 days of Lent. So I remember last year signing up for Hallow, doing it, and then hearing, that Jim Wahlberg story. I still want to get Jim Wahlberg on this podcast, by the way. If anybody knows him, let me know. Please reach out to me at elizabethchance.com. Oh, by the way, subscribe to my show. If you like this, subscribe. Please, please, please subscribe to my show. It will mean the world to me. If you would just go click, I subscribe. I'd really be grateful. And if you want to actually grade my show, tell me how much you like it or don't like it. I would love that too. Please, 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 please. And I'm still, okay, by the way, you guys, now back to my story. I'm holding my rosary that my friends Mo and Al gave me when I was in Medjugorje. I still have them. And I just heard or saw on YouTube, because that's where I watch all my stuff, that Padre Pio said you should sleep with your rosary in your bed, which I do every night. And it gives me light. It's so awesome. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's more light because I'm actually sleeping with my rosary and I love it, love it, love it. So Lent's coming. And so that's what I was doing a year ago. I was like, all right, I'm going to do this Hallow. I'm still going to yoga. I'm still going to sound bowls. I maybe was starting to teeter out on doing Kabbalah. I did Kabbalah 1 just to see what it was like. Again, seeker. So I do this. I signed up for the Hallow and I was like, I'm going to do this. So I've already on the waiting list. I keep getting a daily update of how many days it is till it starts. And I keep thinking, oh my gosh, what am I going to give up? What am I going to do? What am I going to do to represent me giving up something or thinking about God during this time? It's a really dark time in the Bible, and we're actually in Numbers and Deuteronomy now. But I can't stop thinking about Lent, and I'm like, all right, not only am I going to do the Bible study, but I'm also going to keep doing, and I'm going to keep doing Lent. So I'm going to do the Lent daily thing that they have on Hallow, and I'm also going to do um, my daily Bible in a year. And it's going to be a lot. And I said to my husband last night, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be doing, and my friend, I said, I'm going to be doing these, I'm going to be doing 2 things now in the morning. And he's like, you're just going to have to get up earlier. I'm like, yes, you're right. I'm just going to have to go to bed earlier and get up earlier. Cause if God could die on the cross for all of us, Jesus died on the cross for us, then I can spend an hour in the morning working on my prayer life. So I'm going to be doing that. So come next Wednesday, I'll be doing Lent and Bible in a year. And back to what I'm going to give up. It's so crazy because I've, in the past, I'm like, I'm going to give up smoking. I'm going to give up chocolate. I'm going to give up, I don't know. What am I going to give up? What am I going to give up this year? I already gave up cigarettes. I've already given up alcohol. What am I going to give up? Social media. What if I gave up? Okay, it just came to me, you guys. I'm going to give up shopping for 40 days. I'm not going to buy anything for 40 days, starting Wednesday. No buying anything for myself for 40 days. I am going to give up shopping for material like Amazon stuff. Like I'm not the stuff I don't need. I mean, stuff I need on a daily basis, but I'm going to give up the extra shopping, the extra buying of a dress, the extra buying of a t-shirt, or buying glasses, or buying anything that I need that I don't really need. Let's be honest. I'm going to give it up for Lent. Starting Wednesday, I am not going to shop. Now, those that know me personally know that that is my drug of choice. I love to shop. I love to go to Nordstrom's Rack. I love to go to the clearance rack at Saks Avenue. I like to find the best deal I can find on something, whatever the item may be. That is what I do. I love shopping so much. I had to go to a doctor's appointment, and I have to have this little minor surgery this summer. And it's obviously not really important or be happening sooner. So I'm getting it done in probably the 3rd or 4th week in June. But I went to the doctor's, and it's scary. I don't know if you think it's scary, but I think it's scary. And when they say you have to spend the night in the hospital for this minor thing that you are having done, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to sleep at the hospital. This is kind of scary. What am I going to do? And I can't reach for a cigarette, and I can't reach for alcohol. So what do I reach for? I'm like, let's go to the mall. To my husband, I'm like, let's go to the mall. Sawgrass is right around the corner from here. Let's go. So we went to Sawgrass, did my little shopping, my little retail therapy, which is like it makes me feel good just to go look through the racks. But now I'm telling you guys, as of next Wednesday, I have an entire week to shop. I better get as much in as I can. Entire week to shop before it's over. I'm not going to shop for an entire month, 40 days. I can give up shopping. What are you going to give up? What are you going to give up? Are you going to give up chocolate? Are you going to give up social media? What about if you added something in, by the way? What if instead of giving something up, like I just mentioned, I'm adding in, I already do the Bible in a year every day. So I read the Bible every day. And that takes about, let's say on average, between 20 and 30 minutes a day. So I do that. I also listen to Jeff Cavins every day, to the daily gospel. It's just something that also grounds me. It gives me peace. So I do that. But now I'm adding the Bible in a year, and I'm going to add the Lent portion of it as well. So maybe I'll keep doing the gospel, which lasts about 10 minutes. And then with Jeff Cavins, do Bible in a year, and then the Lent devotion. So it's going to take me about an hour in the morning to do my prayer. I think I can give God an hour. I'm going to give him an hour. What are you going to give? What are you going to give? I guess not so much like, what are you going to take away? What could you give? What would you be willing to give? Think about it. God gave his life for us. You think about it. Jesus was like, yes, I know I'm walking through this, and I am going to be on the cross. I'm going to die for you. And you think back to that, and can I give up shopping, and can I give him an hour to pray every day, I think I can do that. Do you think you could do that? What do you think you want to do? Will you write to me and tell me what you're doing? It would really mean the world to me if you would. You can DM me on Instagram. You can send me a message on Facebook Messenger. Wherever you listen or wherever you can find me on social media, it will get to me right away. You could also just send me an email at elizabeth@elizabethchance.com and tell me, what are you willing to give to God during this Lent season? What are you willing to give up? And what are you willing to give up? Give up gossip? Would you do that? That's something I've been working on the whole year. I'm like, that's something I really hate doing anymore, is the gossip thing. I'm like, I hate talking about people. It makes me feel so bad. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to give, I don't want to gossip about people. So I am going, mark my words, next Wednesday, you'll hear me. I'll be on the show. I will be recording like I always do. And I will tell you that on Tuesday, I'll probably talk about it because you guys know I record on Tuesday, that next Tuesday will be my last day to actually buy something I don't really need on Amazon for really cheap. So what are you going to do? Tell me what you're giving up and what you're willing to do for this Lent season. I'm dying to hear what you guys want to do and what you're willing to give up for Lent. And now my next subject, which is humility. I was listening to Jeff Cavins. Was I listening to Jeff Cavins? I could have been Bible in the Ear Jeff Cavins this morning that I was listening to, and they were talking about humility. And, what really is humility? And I remember when I started my 12-step program and they were talking about humility, and I was like, what does humility really feel like? Like, I always thought it was humble. What is humble? You come from humble. You hear people say all the time, I come from humble beginnings. Meaning what? I guess J.D. Vance is somebody who came from definite humble beginnings, right? He came from, his mom was an alcoholic. He had to go live with his grandmother. They didn't have much money. They lived on food stamps. That's very humble beginnings, right? But to be humble as a person is to think, they would say in the 12-step rooms, like to think of yourself less, but think of yourself authentically. Does that make sense? So humility right now, for me personally, to be humble and realize, like, somebody said to me yesterday, I was getting my nails done. I'm going to just tell you guys, I go to this little salon down the street. It's not very expensive. And I get regular nail polish. I don't do anything fancy, just regular nail polish. And somebody walked in and was like, hi, remember me? And she was, I had met her in December at a horse show, and she remembered me. And it was so cute that she said hi. And he's like, you're famous. You're famous. I'm like, no, I'm not so much famous. He goes, you have all these followers. I'm like, yeah, but I wouldn't say that I'm famous. I think people remember me because I'm loud. I'm tall, maybe. And I always am wearing crazy outfits. Maybe that's why people remember me. But I don't think of myself as somebody famous. I think of myself as somebody who has a podcast and, I have a following, and I am so grateful for that. But what the most thing I'm grateful for is that people like my message and people like what I have to share and people can relate to what I'm saying. Because I remember when I was in life, I'll just say even when I was young, I could be in a room with a million people in a house full of people, and I always felt so alone. I felt like nobody got me, that I was kind of like a loner all by myself, even though I had all these friends, quote unquote. And I love to put air quotes for that. If you're just listening to me and not watching me on YouTube, I just always felt so less than. I don't know. I'd go to these places and drinking was amazing because it took away all those feelings of insecurity and being less than. But it was a painful time, at least for me. And I always felt like, who am I? What am I? I'm always being like a chameleon, what everybody else wants me to be, right? Like I'll be a wife, I'll be a sister, I'll be a best friend, I'll be a daughter, I'll be a granddaughter, I'll be all these things. But who was I authentically? And I feel like I'm so grateful that I quit drinking at 37 and I got into this self-help group, that I had to go deep on who I was as a human being, what I stand for, what are my beliefs, what is at my core, who am I, who is Elizabeth? I mean, we can all go to a doctor's office and check off these things and say, yes, I'm white, I'm non-Hispanic, I am married, like all these checks you go down and you do. But that's not who I am. I'm not what I fill out in a doctor's office. You know, I'm so much more than that. And I appreciate that. I can humbly look in the mirror and say, yes, I do have a podcast. Am I one of the top podcasters? No. Do I make any money from my podcast? So obviously I'm not like this famous influencer that has billions of followers and make all this money off of it. No, that's not me. I did this because I didn't want anybody to feel like I felt, which was so alone. I was like, is this crazy that I feel this way? Does anybody else feel like they're alone? Does anybody else feel like they're in a house and they've got all these people around them, but they feel totally alone? Does anybody else feel like that? And the reason I did this is because I didn't want anybody to have to feel like that. Like I'm all alone. I'm all alone. Because no one wants to feel alone. And the thing that I've learned through this year of doing, all of my Hallow and going to Medjugorje and reaching out and having my rosary, with me at all times is that I'm never alone. I didn't know that though. I was raised in a Catholic church. I went to church all the time. I never knew that I wasn't alone. I always thought I'm alone. I'm physically alone. I have no one around me. I always have a dog though, which is kind of nice. Here's the little dog over my shoulder. I always have like a pet around me, but I always still felt alone, but I've never been alone. And dog spelled backward it's God. That's number one. Number two, God is always with me. I know that now. The Blessed Mother is always with me now. I feel so grateful that she's here with me. I'm wearing my, Esther, we all have an angel with us. And this necklace I'm wearing represents Esther from the Bible, who saved the Jews. I love this necklace. I had a therapist tell me years ago that I reminded him of Esther. So I've always loved that and that I at least would save somebody. But humbly, I'm telling you, I'm just try to help other people. I try to let people know that they're not alone. If you're going through issues with your kids, if you're going issues with your husband, if you have issues with alcohol, if you have issues with drugs, I want you to know this, you're not alone. I've been there. It has not been easy. And I feel like I've been granted this voice that I am able to open my voice and admit who I am and not worry about if you like it or not. It has been, it's so interesting. I was talking to somebody yesterday and the person's older than me. And this person had a guy friend that he had walked with for a long time. He's like, I have this guy friend that I really enjoy, and we've been walking for 35 years and we have never talked about politics. And the friend then obviously sat on the other side of the aisle, is this other guy. And they went on this walk and the guy was like, I can't be your friend because you voted for Donald Trump. And their friendship's over now. And I said to this person, I said to him, I talk about my politics on my podcast all the time. I talk about my beliefs all the time. And he was like, wow, you do? I don't really think you should do that. That's really not smart. Like, what about your family? What about your kids? What if they disagree? And I'm like, God gave me this voice and I don't need to be shamed. I was so shamed and had so much shame when I was drinking about what I did, what I said, who I hurt, what do I remember, what I don't remember. I was a blackout drinker. So mind you, remember I woke up many times not remembering what I did the night before. And I had so much shame. I am not going to be ashamed of who I am today. No way. Of who I voted for. Some people say, well, it's none of your business. Well, it's okay. What you believe is a point for you. You guys know what I am. I'm a Trumper. I feel really, really blessed to be that. I feel like I've been this my whole life. I believe in America. I believe in freedom of speech. I believe in supporting the police. I believe in being able to be nice to your neighbor. All of this is in the 10 Commandments, by the way, you guys. Like, be nice to your neighbor is in the 10 Commandments. But now we don't have that. You're not allowed to be nice to your neighbor if they have a different flag in front of their house. Now you can't be friends. Is that really what you believe, or is that what the media tells you to believe? Think about that. Like, I can humbly say that I am who I am. I have wrinkles. I've earned every one of them. My hair is normally gray if I didn't color it. So I tell you guys I color it. I don't get along with my children sometimes. I'm telling you the truth. And is that fun? No. But am I ashamed of it? No. It is what it is. I sometimes feel like my kids not talking to me, at least they have the guts not to talk to me. I think about that all the time. I'm like, they don't follow me around. They don't ask me for money. They don't want my input. They don't want to talk to me. So they said bye. It breaks my heart. But what am I going to do? Like, we all have these things in our lives that we are powerless over. We have no power. How somebody else feels, what somebody else is going to do, how somebody's going to act, the way they're going to vote, the way they're not going to vote. We have no power. I don't know where we think we have power. Where did that come from? This thought that we've got all this almighty power. The only person who has power is God, really, in all reality. Booze takes a power over us because it's a spirit, right? Remember, it was called the wine and spirit stores back in the day. It's a spirit, so it takes over, right? Kind of just like God. So what are you going to do? Are you going to surrender and go, I've got no power? And just be able to let people be who they are? And if they don't want to talk to you, that's on them. Do we cry over that? I can't cry over it anymore. I just don't think anybody has this ideal, perfect life that we talk about all the time. I just don't think any of us does. I think there's not one person walking on this planet that doesn't have something going on in their life that they wish was different. But it's humbly saying that I am not perfect. I don't want to kid anybody and tell them I'm perfect. I'm not. Shit, I'm an alcoholic. I've been in sobriety for a long time. I work on it every day. But I am still an alcoholic, guys. I'm not perfect. My kids don't talk to me. I'm not perfect. My body does not process alcohol like other people's bodies. When did we get to this place that somebody needed a perfect life? Air quotes again. The ability to be humble and say, I am who I am, with my bumps, with my lumps. If I get plastic surgery, own it. Own who you are. Be authentic. There's only one you. There's not two yous. There's one you. Maybe if you're an identical twin, you're very similar, but you're still different. We all are perfect individuals as we are. God made us exactly the way we are. We're perfect. You are perfect listening to this. You are perfect the exact way you are. And be able to own that and say, I own who I am. And if you're going through a hard time, which we all do, we all go through times that are difficult. I just went through a really hard time for 4 days. I was down and out. I don't know if it was party remorse or party letdown or what it was, or the fact that I went to the doctor and they said, you have to have this surgery. I had, I don't know what it was, if it's the air, whatever it is. I had a couple of really bad days. I didn't drink over it. I didn't smoke over it. I was kind of bitchy to my husband, unfortunately. But I did what I did and I got my tools out and I used the tools that I have in my toolbox, which is getting back to prayer. I reached out to friends. I talked about it. I told everybody how I was feeling and what I was feeling. I listened to my friends give me advice. I listened to my husband give me advice. I was willing and able to listen to any and all help I could get. There was no shame. No shame, guys. No shame. How amazing is that? I didn't think I'd ever not have shame. I wore it like a badge of honor for so many years. And to authentically tell you guys I'm not ashamed today is just so freeing. I've realized the closer I get to God, the less shame I have. I think that makes sense, doesn't it? The closer I get to God, the less shame I have. Because God loves us all. He's forgiven all of us. He loves us 110%. But we carry around the stuff from yesterday. The remorse, the sadness, the bitterness, all that we let that all, that's like all, we carry it around in our backpacks. And it gets heavy. And it's not comfy. It actually is drowning you. I was drowning. I was drowning in the ocean with a backpack full of bricks. And I was like, now what? And when I reached out for help and I said, please help me, somebody said, yes, I'll help you, and took my hand and helped me. And they still do to this day. Don't let your ego get in the way of your happiness and finally getting peace and authenticity. I think we all feel authentic maybe at the end of our lives. Haven't gotten there yet, but I think we all do. And when you get to your end of your life, why would you want to wait till then when you could feel this freedom now, today? So what are you going to do this Lent, this 40 days that's coming up? What are you going to commit to? How are you going to get yourself out of the place that you're in that you feel so uncomfortable? How are you going to do that? What are you going to give up? Because if you give something up and that Easter Sunday comes 40 days later, you're going to feel a sense of accomplishment. You're going to be like, I did this. I really did this. I made a commitment and I'm doing it. And I feel really good about the fact that I did this because I wanted to do this for so long. It's like me. I've been wanting to read the Bible for so long. And I will tell you guys that there's days that I'm like, I can't do this. I always listen to the gospel though, but I will then have to do 2 Bibles in a day. Or the other night we did 3 days in a row. My husband and I sat and watched 3 days in a row. But you have to remember that this time that we're getting, that's starting next Wednesday, is a gift. It's not a punishment. It's a gift. It's like, what have you wanted to do but haven't done? You can say, during this time, I'm going to give God 30 minutes. During this time, I'm going to give God 10 minutes. During this time, I'm going to give God 5 minutes. Whatever it is that you can do. And I'm not going to do this thing that I love to do, that drives me crazy that I do, but I don't want to do it anymore because it's been driving me crazy that I've been doing it and I don't want to do it anymore. So what is that you can give up for 40 days? And if after the 40 days you want to go back to doing it, you can. Or if after the 40 days you want to say to yourself, I'm not going to give God that 5 minutes after the 40 days. Or maybe you're going to go, you know what? This just added something amazing to my life. That is going to be a huge gift to you guys. I bet you money, it's going to be a huge gift. And what can you do? What's one thing that can make you humble? What if you just own that you get Botox, or you own that you color your hair, or you own that you don't like to go to the dentist? Whatever it is that makes you a little humble, do it. Do it. And if I were you, don't give up coffee if it's like your favorite thing. Don't give up something you really, really, really is like one of your one things. Like for me, I cannot give up coffee because it's something I do every day. And I gave up the drinking and I gave up the cigarettes. I just want to have my coffee. So I'm going to give that up. But I am going to give up shopping, which is something I really love a lot. So don't give up something that's really going to hurt you badly because God doesn't want you to do that. Give up something that bothers you that you do, that you want to challenge yourself and see if you can really do it for 40 days for God. So I'm going to give up shopping. What are you going to give up? I really want you to email me at elizabeth@elizabethchance.com and let me know what you're giving up and what you're doing, what you're adding to your plate that you've been wanting to add that you haven't done. Is it taking a walk every morning with your dogs without your cell phone? Is it going to dinner with your husband and knowing I'm going to go to dinner with my husband, I have a date night, and I'm not bringing my phone? Can you do that? What about that? Or every time you and your family sit down for dinner, everybody's going to put their cell phones in a basket and everybody's just going to pay attention to each other just during Lent for 40 days. See how that goes? Something small, you guys. It can be something small. It can be something big. It's up to you. I just want you to know this. I want you to know that you can humbly love yourself because I love you, even if I don't know you, because I love humanity. I love human beings. I love almost every human being, unless you really mess with me or my kids. Not going to lie. That I don't like. But I want you to know this. You are not alone. That you can do this. Let's do this together next week. I'm going to put the link for for Lent in the description. If you want to sign up, please do. Let me know that you did that too. You can DM me or you can send me a message at elizabethchance.com. And Conversations with Bizzy is on every social media app you would ever want to find. So send me a message. Let me know what you're doing. And if you want me to share it with my listeners, I'd love to. So let me know if I can do that too. That's enough of me for today. Check in for my newsletter on Friday. Go to my website, sign up for the newsletter. It'll come right into your inbox. And know this, you are not alone. Take care, everybody. Thanks for listening. Thanks for subscribing. Sending big hugs. Take care. Bye. Thanks for listening to Conversations with Bizzy. I hope you enjoyed today's show. If you did, if you could subscribe, that would mean the world to me. And follow me on all social media. And you can also get my newsletter every Friday morning into your inbox. Just go to elizabethchance.com and subscribe. Take care.